Hi, all my lovely SegerSimmers. It's time for a new vlog, and I had actually planned another kind of vlog, but when I was going to edit it, I couldn't find it, so it's all gone. That was about how to be a parent to a child with autism. So I will do that one later, another day, because for now, today, I wanted to do something else, and that is to talk a little bit more about me, my health. I got a huge problem with stress. I can't take any stress at all. I go so crazy. And how did it get like this? Yeah, there is quite a lot of different kind of reasons, and I'm not starting on the beginning now. I'm actually going to start like when it all, we can say that my life, it just fell apart. It just crashed. And that was like, 13 years ago. I had got a new job. I started to work together with my mother, and she didn't like my new husband. We were not married then. We're not even married now, but I call him husband anyway. My partner, but I always say husband anyway. She didn't like him at all, for no reason. She didn't know him at all. He was even working there, but to make that story short, I'm just going to say that for her, she didn't want my kids to have a stepfather. I already had 2 daughters, and she was against that. She couldn't be against him in one way because she didn't even know him. And for her, it was like I was going to be, the perfect daughter, and I disappointed her. I always been disappointing her. So she was on to me about that, about my new choice of man. But that was not the only reason to everything. My working mates, friends, whatever they were, or whatever I would call them, they started to bully me. I was 30 years old and I got bullied at work by grown-ups. I never thought that was going to happen. I was only actually for that job for a short time. I planned. I had been working with the children for over 10 years. Then I started to study web design for 2 years. Then I was like in between. I didn't know exactly what to do, and I got a job where my mother, my father, and my brother was working, but not on the same place exactly, but it's the same company. I'm not going into details where that was. But somehow I don't think people like that. Another family member he got this job easy, or I don't know exactly what the reason was, but they started to bully me. They totally ignored me. There was like, I don't know, this working area was making me feeling so bad. And I was like, first of all, I was thinking I am imagining this, but I wasn't, because it was getting worse and worse. And on top of that, my mother was upset with me because of I choose another man, and she was crazy. She was screaming at me at work in front of everybody. She was treating me so bad, and I can say that during my whole life, since I was born, actually, I've been holding so many stuff inside me. And when she was on to me like that, and these working friends treating me like shit, the whole ground just disappeared underneath me. And that was bad. I haven't been working since then. I can say that one of these bullies, she didn't even want to, because we was told to do some stuff, and this other woman, she didn't want to be next to me because I was pregnant. And I even had a miscarriage a month earlier, a misabortion. It was, so I had to have a surgery, actually, to get rid of this dead baby, and I was very upset for that. My mother, she didn't care about me at all when it was about that, when that happened. I can actually go back to that, because we were working late, me, my mom, and another person, and I was bleeding, and I was like, I can't work, I need to go home. My mom, she took me home, but she left me there. And I had to wait for my man and my partner. And we had to go to the hospital together. My mother didn't care about that. She didn't, talk to me ever about that. She hasn't said a word. It got 13 years. She hasn't said a word about that miscarriage or misabortion then. And if you don't know what a misabortion is, that is that you have a miscarriage, but it does not coming out by yourself, so you need to have a surgery. So like an abortion, but it's dead. And that was terrible, that. And then I got pregnant again later on then, and then this person didn't want to work next to me because I was pregnant, and that was the last day, because the boss was like, why don't you want to work next to her? And she said, no, I don't just want to. And I just felt so bad. I was on the ground, underneath the ground already, and I felt I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I can't be here. I need to, disappear. But I went to I was hoping for some support of my mother, and I went to her and I cried and tried to make her understand what happened. And my mother, she just told me to wipe my tears and go back out and work again. And I did for a minute or two. Then I just left, and I said that I met my partner there, but he was not in that area where I was working around that time. He was actually working same company but in another city. But I had called him, he came over, and we went to the higher boss, and said I was shaking. I was out of control somehow. I was terrible. I was very bad. And he said that he will send me to the company's doctor. So he did, and they saw that I can't work. I don't know if there is a very common word we have here in Sweden, because we can say that that I just run into a wall, and that is like what we even can call this illness. I hit the wall. So that's what I did then. But after that I got therapy, and I realized it started like on my day one, my first day. And I'm sorry, my phone, I'm so noisy. I hate when I forget to turn that off. So, and yeah, so I haven't been working for 13 years because I can't handle stress anymore. I can't handle anything anymore. I am like I can't just a little. It doesn't need to be much to make me stress out, to go crazy stressed, and I just sit down and cry, and I get anxiety, and yeah. The first months when I stayed home, I just sat in front of the TV, and I was watching TV, but I just couldn't have any sound on. And lucky me, in one way, but I don't think even I cared so much about that either. Anyway, is that we have subtitles in Sweden when it's like an English or American TV series or film or whatever. So I was reading that, but I just wanted to have totally quiet, and I was pregnant, and yeah, we had just started to have an aquarium with fishes. We had that at home, and we don't anymore, but then we had it, and I could sit there. I sat there for hours and just looked at them, because they calmed me down. They helped me, believe it or not, but they actually did help me. And I had a lot of therapy, a lot of therapy, and medication, I've been having. But it didn't stop there. My mother, she was still crazy, hunting me down, running down my door, shouting, screaming, and behaving like I don't know what. So she continued pushing me, even if I was ill. And when she found out I was going on therapy, there was like, therapy, it won't help. So that was that support. I can actually say that I got a sibling, and my sibling is sometimes on my channel watching some things. And I told my sibling that this is how my point of view of things, what happened. And I can't talk for my sibling, I can only talk for me. But what I'm just going to say now involve actually my sibling a little bit. And there was that before I actually crashed, but my mother was on me, and my working friends were just bullying me and things like that. And there was one morning we went to work. I was going with them in the same car, and my mom, she was crazy on me, and I went so mad on her, and she told me that I was, sick in the head, and she said a lot of terrible stuff, and especially this, that I am so sick in the head, like I am mental ill. And my sibling and my father didn't say a word. They never said a word, and I was very upset for that. I really needed to have their support somehow, but I didn't get that. I've been talking a little bit with my sibling, not much about this, because I tried once and it didn't work out at all. So we didn't talk for a few years actually, but we are talking now, and it's like we are not going into this subject. But I'm not blaming my sibling. In one way I do, but in one way I don't. Because I know my mother, she's hard. She's hard. Oh, sorry, my throat is going crazy now. And so and then later on, then when I was not working anymore, I had my mom all crazy on me. I was also going to give birth to my son, and that didn't help me. I mean, you can get, these depressions when you're being giving birth and that. So I fell further down in the ground. But in all that crazy, we were moving. We had this big chance to a huge flat where I am sitting in right now. And there was Christmas also, all at the same time. A newborn baby, Christmas, new flat. Don't feeling so good at all. And a crazy mother. So there was like between Christmas and New Year's Eve, we were moving, and my mother, she was on to me. You should put up curtains now, and frames and pictures and all that stuff on the walls. I mean, it was like a week afterwards or whatever. Oh, haven't you done that yet? And oh, I plan to take my friends over here and show you how you live. And that made me fall even further down. Believe it or not, but I did. It was so bad. It was so bad. I was... everything went crazy. And that therapy I was going on didn't help much either. And because I had that through work, and so I stopped there, and I just fell really hard down. And one day I was so upset and angry and so crazy, and this is the hardest thing for me to say loud, but I was so upset and I was so badly ill. So when I hold my newborn baby, I just wanted to throw him into the wall. I was not angry on him, but I was angry on everything else, and I was so upset and stressed out. So I just wanted to throw him, and I was screaming that to my partner, take him before I do it. And he first thought that was like a threat, but it wasn't. It was not a threat. It was like, take him before I do it. I mean, before I actually do it, I don't want to do it. Take him. And that made me actually end up in a hospital, in a mental hospital, for a weekend. And believe it or not, my mother calls and talks to me about curtains. And she was also ordering me. She ordered me to come home because I didn't belong there. Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. And I had to cut her off. So I did. I cut her off. I cut her off from my life. And the hospital helped me. Oh, actually, no, that didn't help me. No, that didn't help me with the therapy. But I realized myself I really need therapy. So I contacted another place, and they took me immediately. They have long queue for patients, but they realized I needed them now. So they helped me, and it took years. I don't remember how many years I were there, but I was there for many years. So they have seen my son grow up in front of them nearly, because he was following me there during the days. And so that therapy helped me, but I had to cut my mother off. And like I also said, that I had problems with the sounds. I still can have that, but that was so bad, so I even had to give up my two daughters for 6 months. I gave them up. I let them be with their father for 6 months, and that's also something I really hate. I hate myself for that, but I just couldn't have them at home because they wanted to play. But even if if they were quiet and a ball was rolling across the floor, I got so crazy. I just couldn't stand that sound. It was that bad. And I just couldn't have them at home because I just couldn't be angry on them all the time. That was not fair to them. So I know in one way that was the best thing for them. But I still feel I could have been a better mother for them. But I just couldn't. And I am better now. I am. And I got one of my daughters living with me now all the time. The other daughter, she's in college, so, and I don't think she will ever move back home again. But I do feel a bit better, but I do feel depressed because during all this therapy and all that, I've been, realized that I have not been happy. I've been depressed all my life. All my life I've been depressed. And all my life I didn't have my mother's support at all. And my father is not giving support either, but he hasn't putting me down. He was just like invisible. And things the stress now, I can't handle stress. It's so bad, so I can't even make food for my own kids. I can't bake, I can't make food. Sometimes I can hardly make a cup of tea and a sandwich all together because then I do wrong things. I go to, I open the wrong cupboards, bring out the wrong stuff. I can't think. I just can't think. And but then you may be wonder how the hell can you do this? Yeah, I wonder this also. The YouTube. But is that, I don't know. The games somehow makes it easier for me to think of other stuff. Happier stuff. And I've always been creative. I don't say I am very good on what I'm doing. I'm definitely not saying that. But I like to create stuff. At the beginning, on the last therapy I had, they even put me in a group. So I was sitting down and was knitting and crocheting. And that was so relaxed for my soul. And I do love creative stuff, even if I'm not that good. And there is the same thing here. And I don't know if you remember what I said in the beginning. I said that I had been studying web design. So I really love to do things even on the computer. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of this programming stuff I learned. And I'm not afraid to learn things on a computer. So somehow I can fix that. But if someone asks me how to do the stuff, if they want me to teach them things on the computer, I end up being the worst teacher ever. It's like when I'm making food, I will do the wrong thing. I will all suddenly start to scream at people, or that poor guy who maybe wants to learn something. So I can't do that. So I feel like I'm the worst person ever sometimes. But the Sims has helped me a lot. My partner, husband, has helped me a lot. My kids has helped me a lot. And that's the ones who has helped me a lot. I had a few friends when I was got ill, but they left. One of them was even on to me and wondering why I couldn't support her when I myself was like in hospital. And yeah, and she was on to me and can't believe that I couldn't support her. I mean, come on. So I mean, that's friends, my so-called friends. So yep, the only friends I got now is my family and all these other YouTubers, of course, that I've been talking to a lot with lately, and of course all my viewers. You're also my friends. So yeah, I guess I forgot a lot of things now to say that I wanted, but that can be like in maybe some other videos, because there is more to talk about when it's about this. And but this is how I, you know, my side of the story. I mean, if now my sibling is listening to this, this is how it has been for me. And yeah, I said that I cut off my mother totally. I did, but that is another story right now. And first I was thinking I shouldn't say that, but this video is getting too long, so maybe I will talk more. That will be like a continue then. I don't think I should talk so much more about that in this video. But now you know a little bit about it, how I am, like why I am like I am, why my children is not getting any food from me. And yeah, maybe you wonder what are they eating then. Yeah, I got a partner, he cooks. He's good at that, so he gives them food. And now when my daughters is older, they make some food also sometimes. So yeah, but I can also say that with a son who got autism, and he also is hyperactive, and me who can't handle stress, yeah, that mix is not always the best one, but I try to do my best. So yeah, but I end this now. I will talk more about me in my vlogs. So yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for listening to me. And yeah, if you like what I've been talking about, whatever, you can always give me some likes, thumbs ups. At least that shows that you have actually been listening to this video. And if you haven't subscribed, my brain is a little bit mushy now because of I've been feeling sad. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please, you can do that, so you won't miss my other vlog or my other kind of videos. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.